going to talk about how we know if something is quadratic or linear based on a table. So I am going to date my notes. So everybody should be taking notes. So everybody should have a piece of paper in front of them. Everybody's phone should be down. This is recorded. So when your parents are like, my kid's not on their phone, it can be like, I mentioned their name on this date that they were on their phone. Okay. So today is, I like to date it just so that it's easier to find stuff, and I like to label it. Just again, so it's easier to find stuff. This is, we're going to call it tables, and I'm going to start with a table. Okay, so, you know, tables look like X and Y, right? You did some of this with your linear sort, right? Putting in a graph and figuring out a table. And I've got the point 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 for X. And for Y, for 0, I get 3. For 1, I get 5. For 2, I get 7. 3, I get 9. And 4, I get 11. And I want to tell, these are tables for linear and quadratic. So I want to tell if this is a linear equation or a quadratic equation. Okay? So one of the ways to do this is figure out the difference. First, I'm looking at the X values. They all go up by 1 each time. Okay? So now I'm going to look at the Y values. We call this the first difference. 3 to 5. 3 plus what gives me 5, guys? 2. Okay, 5 plus 7 gives me. 7 plus 9 gives me. And 9 plus 11 gives me. Okay, so do you see how those are all the same? That's my first difference. If they're all the same, if your first differences are the same, it's linear. So let's write that down. So first differences are the same. It's linear. Okay. So now we're going to figure out the slope for this. And we're going to put it in the equation y equals mx plus b. Okay? M is my slope. So what's my slope? I don't want to put it in an equation if I don't have to. Just from looking at this table and those first differences, can I tell what my slope is? It's 2, yeah. Okay? It's that first difference. All right. What's my b? What's my b value where it crosses the y-axis? How do we know when to find that? You could. That's a lot of work, though. Mathematicians are notoriously lazy. They want to do the least hardest thing to do. Okay? That fits with a lot of our philosophies, right? Like the least difficult thing to do. Okay. So what's nice about the y-intercept is it's always when x equals 0. So right here, we've got 3. So we can simply make our equation y equals 2x plus 3. I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you this information because your homework is based just like this. Okay? So now is the time to ask questions. So I think one of the mistakes I did on the last time we took notes is I didn't give you an example to try on your own. And then some people were lost. So my next one is going to be one you try on your own. Yes, MJ, before we move on.
So M is the first difference?
Yep.
And B is the first number?
B is where an x equals 0. So if I had negatives up here, it would not be the first one, right? Okay. All right. So let's look. Here's one where you can do it on your own. Here's the table. Okay, I put some fractions in there. Totally messing with you. Oh, wait, this is not right. This is 3 2/3.
What's next to the 1?
1 is 3 1/3. 2 is 3 2/3. 3 is 4. So remember, the first thing I want you to do is figure out first differences. And then you can tell me if it's linear or quadratic. And then I want you to put it in an equation.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to move on because I want to give enough time for today. What do you guys think each of these is going up by? 1/3. And they're all the same, right? So it's linear. Okay, so what's my slope? My slope is 1/3. And remember, I'm looking for when x is 0, what's my b? 3. So my equation is y equals 1/3 x plus 3. Okay, now I'm going to give you a table where I don't give you the y-intercept. Okay, I'm going to give you a table where I don't give you the y-intercept, and we are going to figure out how to do it from there. Okay, so here's my table. Got my x, got my y. I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've got 2, 1.5, 1, 0.5. So first, 2 to 1.5, what did I do? I took away what? If I had $2, now I have $1.50.
You took 0.5.
Put 0.5 away. Take 0.5 away, so it's negative 0.5, right?
Yep.
Negative 1/2 is the same thing as negative 0.5, right?
Yep.
Same thing? Okay, so I know it's linear. I know my slope is negative 1/2. I'm going to put 1/2 just because when we graph, right, it's easier to go down 1/2 than to figure out what 0.5 is, right? Now I've got to figure out what b is, what my y-intercept is, okay? Now I could go backwards. I could say, okay, what would 1 be, what would 0 be? Or I can plug it in and go y equals negative 1/2 x plus b. And then I could take a random point and plug it in for x and y. So I could go 2 equals negative 1/2, 2 plus b. That's a b, not a 13, by the way. Okay? Then negative 1/2 times 2 is negative 1 plus b. Add 1. So b equals 3. So my equation is y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. What do you think, guys? Do you think you could do that on your own?
No.
No.
Yeah, this last one? Want to try one more? Why don't you guys try this? Yeah, move up if you can't see. I'm going to try to zoom it in a little bit more, too. Okay. Okay. I want you guys to try this one right here on your own. Same way. All right, you ready to try it?
Yep.
Okay, so first of all, negative 3 to negative 6 is going to be what? Negative 3. Negative 3 to negative 9 is? And negative 9 to negative 12 is negative? Okay, so we know it's linear. Okay, we know it's linear. We know my m is negative 3, right? Okay, so I'm going to say y equals negative 3x plus b. What point do you guys want to choose? You could choose any of these.
4.
You want to choose 4 and negative 9?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to plug negative 9 in for y. See how it's under the y? And I'm going to say negative 3 times 4 plus b. So then I get negative 9 equals negative 3 times 4 is negative 12 plus b. Now I'm going to add 12 to both sides. So 12 plus negative 9 is 3, right? So y equals negative 3x plus 3 is my final answer. Okay. Now we're going to say if it's not linear. Okay, so I'm going to move this. Okay, we've got zero and 2, 1, 3, 2, 6, 3, 11. We'll do another one. 4, 18, 5, 27. Okay. So, 2 to 3 is how much?
1.
We added 1.
This is quadratic.
3 to 6, we added 3. 6 to 11, we added 11 to 18, we added 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 7. 18 to 27, 18, 20, 21, 20, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, are those first differences the same? They are not, right? So now we have to do second differences. 1 to 3 is how much?
2.
3 to 5 is how much? 5 to 7 is? And 7 to 9 is? Okay, so this is quadratic.
Wait, so if it go about when you do that, you know, consecutive by one number is quadratic. If it is consecutive.
Okay, so if the second differences are the same, it's quadratic. So let's write that down. Second differences are the same. It's quadratic. Okay, now it's a little more complicated figuring out this equation. Okay, we put quadratics in the form, their basic form are ax squared plus bx plus c. Ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? A, to find A, it's always the second difference divided by 2. Okay, so in this case, my second difference is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that's going to be my A. Okay? My C is where it crosses the y-axis. So it's going to be where x equals 0. So in this case, what is it going to be? When x is 0, what's y? 2. Okay, and then b is the thing that we always got to figure out. Okay? So we've got y equals 1x squared plus bx plus 2. So we're going to pick a number to plug in there. I recommend, if you've got a 0, to pick that in. So I'm going to go 0, 2, that's my x, that's my y. And I'm going to plug them in. So I'm going to say y is 2, and there are 2 different x's, so I'm going to make sure I put both of them down. Okay? So I get 2 equals 0 squared is 0, right? And 0 times 1 is 0, so I get 0 plus. B times 0 makes this whole thing 0, right?
Yeah.
So I get 2 equals 2. What does that mean? It means there is no B. So it's just y equals x squared plus 2. Thanks, Ben. So that was a little complicated. Do you guys want to do another one together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 5 more.
Okay. Let's do another one together.
5 more.
Maybe not 5 more, guys.
2 more. Just one.
Okay. I'm just putting down the table. Hold on.
Wait, what did I say? Why did you say square plus 2? Okay.
Yes.
X squared plus 2. Yep. Okay, I'm moving this. All right. So here's our equation, guys. Shh. Here's our equation. The first thing I want to do is figure out if it's linear or quadratic. 1 to 4 is how much?
3.
4 to 9 is?
5.
9 to 16 is?
7. 7.
So 3 to 5 is how much? 2, right? 5 to 7 is 2. So we know it's quadratic.
Or 3, 5, 7.
Remember, this is my first difference. This is my second. Second differences are the same, so it's quadratic. Okay. So I've got y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Who remembers how to find a? It's always the second differences. There we go. So a for this one is going to be what? What's 2 divided by 2?
1.
Okay. What's c going to equal? C is always where x equals 0, right? So c is going to be? What's this number right here next to y? 1.
Wow.
C always equals when x equals 0. The y value. Okay, so we've got y equals x squared plus bx plus 1. We need to find out what b is. So I'm going to plug in 0 and 1 for x and y. So I get 1 equals 0 squared plus b times 0 plus, you know what, that's not going to work. Let's do 1 and 4. Sorry. Let's do 1 and 4. So I'm going to plug in 4 equals 1 squared plus b times 1 plus 1. You guys can't see it at all, huh? There we go. So I'm going to get 4 equals 1 plus b. B times 1 is just b. Plus 1. What's 1 plus 1? 2 plus b. And then I'm going to do what to get b by itself? Not divide, but subtract, right? 2 equals b. So my equation is y equals x squared plus 2x plus 1. Okay. So that we don't run out of time, you've got a couple examples here for you guys to do your homework. I want you to be working on this linear source. We're going to try to finish this up today. So I'm going to make sure you guys have glue. Remember, equation, graph, table, word problem. This one, I'm every once in a while gonna add, just so.
I know, last
These are the math classes that you
Start working on this linear store, we're gonna try to finish it today. It is worth a significant
You
amount
could
of
write
points.
either in there or, you gotta
We're
break
gonna
it
try to
down,
get it
you
done
know.
today. Do it all possible.
So you can.
Is that a 6 or a B?
B. I know, my capital B's look like 13s and my lowercase b's look like 6s, so. I know. Bad handwriting.
tricked my brain.